So now that I've got half the fan base is the NHL convinced that I hate them because I don't predict their teams are going to make the playoffs again, let's discuss something that I've been thinking about discussing for the last few days. So you look at these 18, 19-year-old kids coming into the league, and the NHL this year, for the first time ever, will have more players under the age of 27 than over 27 playing in the NHL. Speed is a big part of the game. Youth is a huge part of the game. Those entry-level contracts are gold in the salary cap era. So here's the thing. You've got an 18-year-old kid that you know is close. You're not allowed to send him to the American Hockey League because he's too young for the American Hockey League. You have to send him to juniors or keep him on your team. So you may be left in a situation where you got to keep him with your team. You got to make sure he doesn't hit that 9-game mark. You don't want to burn a year on his entry-level contract. So maybe he sits a couple games out. Maybe he's with the roster until about mid-November, late November, before he hits that 9-game mark. And then you send him back to juniors. You got a European. Exactly the same situation. He's not quite ready to make your team. But he's close. He's 18 years of age, entry-level contract. You send him to the American League. Why? Because the Canadian Hockey League has an agreement with the NHL. European leagues do not. So, in this era of players making the NHL younger ages, is it time to revisit this rule? Is it time to throw the rule away? Now, I want to say it was Ray Ferraro that I heard the other night saying that maybe there should be exceptions. I wouldn't like that idea. Because I don't know where you'd have the exception. Would it be, well, if it's a first rounder, you can keep them? If it's a second rounder through 7th, you have to send them back to juniors? No, you either got to have the rule or you don't have the rule. But it definitely favors a team who picks up, look at Toronto, Liljegren. Liljegren can go down and play with the Marlies. Liljegren can play with the Marlies, pick up the game, and if he picks it up fast enough, he can come in and play with the Leafs. Whereas, team down the road here, Vancouver, got Hugh Levy. Maybe they think Hugh Levy's close, but he's not roster material, so he goes back to juniors. Instead of being allowed to go to Utica, get his game in line, and then come in and play. I understand these rules are meant to protect the Canadian Hockey League. It's meant to prevent NHL teams from drafting players and just pulling 200 guys a year out of the CHL and plunking them in their pipeline with the American League or the East Coast League even. Because let's be honest, if you got an 18-year-old kid and you go, well, he's not NHL ready, I don't know if I'd want him in the American League either. If I could stick him in the East Coast League for half a season, he's still playing against men. He's still playing against big players. As opposed to in juniors, he's going to be playing against other 15, 16, 17-year-olds. So, it's not an easy solution. Just as getting cat hair isn't always an easy solution either. But the honest truth is that I really think the NHL has to investigate this because there are so many young kids coming in. Let's say you're considering putting an NHL prospect in the American League rather than returning him to the junior team. Maybe you owe the junior team an amount of money. Some sort of a set amount of money the NHL decides, okay, if you're going to put them in the American League, you owe them a payout, and say, here you go, you're not getting the player back, here's some money to help you out. It's not unheard of in the sports world to do stuff like that, to help out other leagues. And I don't think it would cripple the Canadian League. I really don't. I think you'd still see a lot of guys being returned to juniors. I don't think you'd see a lot of guys getting sent to the American League. And maybe that's where the limit could be. Maybe for each GM you could say, all right, you're allowed to take 2 junior age players and send them to the American League. That's your max. That's it. The rest of them all have to go back to juniors. So your maximum is 62 guys. Well, since it's highly unlikely that every single GM is going to say, I'm going to send 2 guys to this league instead of to juniors, I really don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. I mean, junior hockey has the World Cup of, World Junior Hockey Championships. And that's a showcase for what they're able to do. The World Juniors showcases what the CHL has in Team Canada. I think that you could work something with junior age players in the American League and say, this is our showcase. So maybe work something where these prospects are able to do something else. Let me know what you guys think. What creative solution can we have where a league that keeps getting younger is able to take these kids that are almost ready for the NHL and push them over that line into NHL duty without destroying their careers, without rushing them. And at the same time, it doesn't punish the junior teams. Because I could see how this could punish junior teams. I could see how a team like the London Knights could lose 5 or 6 guys this way. A team that consistently produces top-end NHL talent could really get raked over the coals and lose a lot of players. So there'd have to be some kind of a kickback from the NHL. Some kind of an agreement between the league and the junior leagues. Saying, all right, here's what you get for this number of players. So let me know what you guys think. It could be a bad idea. I doubt it ever really happens. But I see a lot of players that are on the verge, and you see NHL teams going, well, either I keep them here or they go to juniors. And yet if it's European, well, we can send them to the Euro League. We can send them here. We can send them there. And the American League is an option. The American League should be an option for a certain number of junior age players, because there are players who would definitely benefit from it. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.